everyone, it is Jim Sim, and it is time for another episode of the Not Just a Hat Rack podcast. So a couple of different things this week. We're going to try a couple of formats. One, just audio, and then also having a video version that you can see, not me, because I think you've seen plenty of me, but just some photos that I'm going to share as I tell some stories as we go through the podcast. So first, this is Tuesday. It is June 22nd. I can't believe June is just about over. And just want to recap Father's Day weekend. Drove out to Phoenix from California, where I currently live, to spend Father's Day with my daughter, Kaylee, who I love very much. And also see my sister and brother-in-law as they prepare to move to Alabama. Good for them. I'm excited for them. This is a big change for them, a cool opportunity. And they're going to be out in Alabama with my cousin Fred and his wife Annette. So that's very cool. And so anyway, good weekend. Had brunch with Carol and Buck on Saturday, which was very nice. And it's just that it's been too damn hot in Phoenix over the past, 10 days or so. It was 118 over the weekend and just miserable. Reminded me of one of the many reasons why I moved out of Phoenix. But for those of you who are still there, God bless you, man. It is just hot, and just pray for good air conditioning or pool or both. But it was a really good weekend. I got to spend some really good quality time with Kaylee, and glad she's going to be coming out to California to come home for a few weeks, which will be awesome. So the other thing on the podcast I wanted to talk about this week is go through some of the experiences, stories, craziness of my time when I was in radio. Most of you, if not all of you, know that I spent a couple of different eras in radio. My first bout in radio was back in 1988 with Tim and Willie at a station called Y95, which is the top 40 station. And it was a great time working with them and having a really good time doing radio with them. Through my toils and travels of radio, there have been good people and there's been bad people. And I only want to shine a light on the good people that I've been able to work with. And there are a lot of them, great people. So going in the Wayback Machine to 1989, when I was working with Tim and Willie at 185, I was their morning show producer. And I had the opportunity to represent the show and the station and go to the 1989 MTV Music Awards. Yes, back when MTV played music. And it was in Los Angeles at the Universal Amphitheater. And I was really excited. This was like my first trek out to go somewhere and represent the station. And it was cool on many levels. So first level, of course, get to go out there and go to the MTV Music Awards and cover them and be backstage and grab audio from the winners as they came off stage and all that stuff. And then report back to Tim and Willie the following day. And another cool part of this was I was flying out to LA to also pick up Paula Abdul's Jeep. My program director at the time knew her manager in some way and knew that she was selling her Jeep and getting a different car or something. And so our station bought the Jeep, and we were going to do a promotion at the Arizona State Fair and give away Paula Abdul's Jeep. So I had to fly into LA and pick up her Jeep and then drive it back to Phoenix. So when I got into LA, I had to go to her house and pick up the Jeep. And I got to meet Paula Abdul and her mom. They were actually getting ready for the MTV Music Awards, which was that night. And they were awesome. They were great. Paula was very cool, very personable. She signed the driver's side door, with a Sharpie that we later had to put plastic over so it wouldn't fade or smudge or anything. But So it was very cool getting to meet Paula, pick up the Jeep, and I had to go back to the hotel and get ready for the award show as well. The award show was very cool, fun. Being backstage, you see all these music acts from the 80s was very cool. It was a lot of fun, great times, but for me, the most amazing portion of this night was the after party. The after party was actually taking place on Universal Studios backlot, and it was set up like a state fair type thing with games to play and win stuffed animals and prizes and stuff. But it also had great music and people were dancing. And one of the craziest moments was Paula Abdul saw me and remembered me and dragged me onto the dance floor for a song. And I never felt so white in all my life because Paula Abdul, as you all know, can dance really well. And I cannot. So I didn't care because I was dancing with Paula Abdul. So that was a lot of fun. And then another amazing part of this evening, if you've ever seen the movie Lethal Weapon 2, the blonde gal that Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, has like a little affair with her, and the actress's name is Patsy Kensit. And I met her at the after party, and it was amazing. She was just so kind, and I spent probably 3 or 4 hours just chatting with her and hanging out with her, and she wanted to know all about radio and Phoenix, and very cool lady. We had a great time hanging out backstage at the after party. And here's a photo from that as well. So if you're not watching this on a video, then find it, because you get to see a cool picture of her and Jim Sim with a skinny tie in 1989. What a surprise! But a lot of fun, a lot of good times that night, and so that's one of my radio stories from the past. So as I wrap up this podcast, I want to talk about some TV shows or streaming shows that you're binging right now, and one that if you have not seen, I cannot recommend enough, which is Ted Lasso with Jason Sudeikis. And the very cool thing is, if you haven't seen it, you can binge it now, and it is starting up again in mid to late July. I think it's July 23rd on Apple TV or Apple Plus. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. If you have seen it, you know how great that show is. And they keep winning more and more awards. I saw a video yesterday of Jason Sudeikis receiving was it Peabody? I think a Peabody Award. It was presented by Will Ferrell, and that was funny in itself. And then Jason Sudeikis did a little speech streaming, and very cool. And so Ted Lasso, top of my list. The other one, The Crown. So if you haven't seen The Crown, I know it's been out there a while and there's a few seasons. I highly recommend The Crown. Kaylee and I are actually re-watching the seasons. And then another show on Apple Plus is Mythic Quest. And you may think, what? Mythic Quest? That better not be like, the old medieval times. No, it is based off of a group that are doing video games, creating video games. And it's from the creators of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So if you like that show, it's that kind of quirky comedy. And it's really good, really well done. So Mythic Quest on Apple Plus. The Umbrella Academy on Netflix. It starts off really well and it gets a little weird, but hang in there. It's really good. Really enjoy The Umbrella Academy. Also, from a few years ago, which I didn't find out about this show until now, and I think a lot of people are finding old shows now because of the pandemic, and it's The Startup. And it's really good. It kind of has an Ozark vibe to it, but The Startup is really good. It takes place primarily, I think, in Florida. So there you go. You've got your own issues down in Florida, so you can kind of understand where this show is going to go. And so that's all I have right now for another episode of the Not Just a Hat Rack podcast. I am Jim Sim. Thanks for listening.